In this video, we are going to learn how to select array elements using indexing and slicing. Let's import NumPy and create an array containing several elements. If we want to get a single value from this array, we can simply refer to it by index. As with regular Python arrays, indices start with 0. So if we want to get the first element, we simply type array and the index in the square brackets. Because our array contains the numbers starting from 0 and increasing by 1, they match the index of the element. If we would want to get the number 3, we would simply get an element with the index 3. You can also get a range of values between the two indices. To do that, we are going to use slicing. This column tells Python that we want to grab the numbers between the index 3 and the index 5. As you can see, the first number is inclusive, so the number 3 is included here, and the last number is exclusive as always, so we get all the numbers up to but not including 5. Let's try it with 10, just to make it clear. So we get all the numbers from 3 up to but not including 10. You can also always remove the first or the last number, leaving the empty space before the column or after it, to get all of the numbers from the beginning of the array up to the number, or starting with the number, let's say from 10, and get all the numbers up until the end of the array. So empty space simply means the end of the array here and the beginning of the array here. Now let's use Reshape to turn this array into a matrix and see how indexing looks in matrices. We take this array and tell Python to turn it into a matrix with 3 rows and 5 columns. It looks like this. So it will simply arrange the elements of this array in a matrix that looks like so. So let's say we want to grab the number 6. Then all we need to do is to specify the row that this number belongs to and then the column this number belongs to. So as you can see, it is a nested array, and this row would be its second element at index 1, and inside this row 6 is a second element also at index 1. So we can simply type matrix 1 1 and it will return 6. So this one will grab this row, and this one will tell it to grab the second element in this row. We can also use a different type of notation and use the comma instead of double brackets, and it will accomplish the same result. So if we would want to get the first row, we could use only one number, and that would return, the second row. First row would be the number 0. We can also use slicing to select elements in the matrices, and it works just like with the arrays. So let's say we want to get all the rows up to but not including 2, so all of the rows except for the last one, and we want to get all of the elements starting from the third one, which is at the index 2, and until the end of the array. So can you guess what this will return? As you can see, it returns this part of the matrix. So we told Python to select the first 2 rows, up to but not including the last one, and from each of these rows select elements starting from the second index and up until the end. If we would want to get only one column, we would simply do it like so. So this tells it to grab all of the rows, so it will look at all of the rows, but only take the first element from each of the rows. So we have 0, 5, 10, and we can select any column we want like so. Let's recreate our array so that I would be able to show you something called broadcasting. That is something you cannot do with regular Python arrays. Let's say I want to select the first 5 elements of the array and set all of them to the same number. Now if I look at the original array, we see that the first 5 elements were set to the number 10. I will recreate the array again so that I would be able to show you one more important thing to understand about arrays. Let's say I want to create a copy of this array that I would be able to modify while preserving the original one. I will call the variable array copy, and I will set it to the slice of the original array. You would think that this is a new array that contains only the first few elements. But because of how NumPy deals with memory issues, that's not exactly the case. For example, let's say I'm going to change one of the elements on this array to a different number. Let's say I will change the first element to 50. Now if you look at this copy, as you would expect, the second element is set to 50. But if we will look at the original array, look at that, it was modified as well. Because this copy is automatically linked to the original array, and however we modify it, it will be reflected in the original array as well. If instead you want to create a copy that does not influence the original array, create an array, and to create its copy, we use a copy method. And then if we want to grab the first few elements, we will simply add slicing at the end of it. Now you can see we have an original array and array copy, and if we will want to modify array copy, original array will remain unmodified. So we have set the first number here to 50, but here it is still 0. That's it. That's what I wanted to tell you about indexing and slicing and selection in NumPy. I hope this was useful to you, and I will see you in my next video.